Picture this. You're in a high-security enterprise environment. Highly sensitive data is flowing across the network. Firewalls are up, server-side authentication is completely ironclad, and your backend, well, it's practically a fortress. But there is a silent, glaring vulnerability sitting right there on the desk. Welcome to our latest explainer. Today, we are initiating an urgent security briefing on a critical layer of defense that honestly gets overlooked way too often in enterprise web applications. We're looking at a tool designed to lock down your endpoints like never before. It's called KD Screen Guard.
It's the classic scenario, right? An employee grabs a coffee, maybe they step into a quick meeting, or they just get distracted. The terminal is left unattended, and the web application is sitting there wide open. Okay, let's dive into this. That brief moment of inactivity, that is literally all a malicious actor needs. If your web app doesn't have a robust, immediate way to lock itself down on the client side, all those expensive server-side defenses we just talked about suddenly mean absolutely nothing.
The threat model here is twofold. First, there's the obvious one, unauthorized physical access. Someone literally just walks up to the desk and starts clicking. But the second threat is actually far more insidious, and that is DOM manipulation via browser dev tools. See, typical web apps rely on simple CSS overlays or maybe basic modals to quote-unquote lock a screen. But a savvy attacker, they can just right-click, inspect the page, find that lock screen in the HTML document object model, and simply delete it or change its visibility. And just like that, boom, they've bypassed your client-side security and totally compromised your session integrity.
Section 1. Meet KD Screen Guard, the Zero-Dependency Fortress.
To combat this client-side threat, we're looking at a solution that isn't just your average flimsy modal. It's engineered as a tamper-resistant lock screen overlay and biometric guard, purpose-built for sensitive enterprise web applications to act as a literal fortress for the browser tab. Traditional setups often drag in 15 or more sub-dependencies. They're bloated, and worse, their security calculations block the browser's main thread, which causes the UI to freeze up and stutter. KD Screen Guard flips the script completely. It requires zero external dependencies, meaning a vastly reduced supply chain attack surface. And, as we'll explore shortly, it offloads heavy cryptography to non-blocking web workers. Basically, you get heavy-duty security without turning your codebase into a sluggish, bloated mess.
Section 2. Active biometrics and surveillance, stopping intruders in real time.
The front line of this defense is WebAuthn, Biometrics. So instead of relying solely on a typed password, which, let's face it, can easily be shoulder-served, this system integrates natively with the device's actual hardware. Legitimate users can unlock their secure session seamlessly using Touch ID, Face ID, Windows Hello, or even a hardware security key like a YubiKey. It leverages the native navigator.credentials API. This provides a hardware-backed entry that is incredibly smooth for the authorized user, yet practically impossible for an intruder to fake.
And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when someone who isn't authorized tries to break in. If KD Screen Guard detects unauthorized brute force attempts or any kind of tampering, it doesn't just reject the password and passively sit there. No, it actively catches the bad actor in the act. Utilizing automated WebRTC, it secretly snaps a photo using the device's webcam. Then, when the legitimate user finally returns and unlocks the system, they are immediately presented with an interactive modal showing the intruder's snapshot, with clear options to either download the evidence or delete it. But what if you need an immediate physical deterrent? Well, consider this number, 4 Hz. KD Screen Guard features a built-in 4 Hz low-frequency modulated web audio API oscillator. Okay, what does that actually mean in plain English? It means it has a built-in hardware siren. It requires absolutely zero external MP3 files. If a breach is attempted, it uses the browser's native audio hardware to synthesize a massive, localized alarm entirely out of thin air, instantly alerting everyone in the physical vicinity.
Section 3. Invisible Armor, Anti-Tamper and Unbreakable Cryptography.
Let's narrate a real-time cyber attack to see how this works in practice. Because beyond the biometrics and the alarms, the real magic here is how it defends against sophisticated hackers who know their way around browser dev tools. Step 1. A smart attacker opens DevTools, finds the lock screen's HTML node, and tries to alter its Z-index to hide it. Or maybe they simply hit delete. They think they've bypassed the lock. Step 2. KD Screen Guard's self-healing Anti-Tamper Guard, utilizing a MutationObserver, instantly detects the malicious change. Step 3. It actively fights back. It instantaneously regenerates and heals the DOM overlay. The lock screen just pops right back up. And the speed at which this happens is honestly breathtaking. Less than 4 milliseconds. The library uses a microtask batch via the MutationObserver to ensure instant DOM restoration. Literally, before the attacker's brain even registers that they've deleted the node, the library has already healed itself and locked the screen down again. It is an automatic, relentless defense mechanism. Underneath this self-healing DOM is some incredibly heavy-duty cryptography. This massive number here, 100,000, represents the amount of PBKDF2 salted iterations running natively via the W3C Web Crypto API. Why is this so important? Well, if an attacker manages to pull an offline dictionary or attempts a rainbow table attack to crack the session, they are going to hit a brick wall. These 100,000 iterations, combined with unique salts, mathematically prevent pre-computed hash cracking.
Now, running 100,000 cryptographic iterations is computationally expensive. Usually doing this in a browser would freeze the entire application. So the crucial point is how KD's ScreenGuard handles this massive load. Off main thread web workers. It delegates all this heavy PBKDF2 and SHA-256 hashing to a background thread using blob data URLs. The result? The UI remains buttery smooth. The application keeps running perfectly without any main thread blocking, even while it's performing intense military-grade cryptography entirely in the background.
Section 4. Seamless Enterprise Integration. Deployment and compatibility.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredibly broad, out-of-the-box hardware compatibility. Whether your enterprise runs on Google Chrome, Apple Safari on macOS or iOS, Microsoft Edge, Mozilla Firefox, or even Android web views, KD ScreenGuard supports native biometrics and off-thread workers across the board. The support reaches back to Chrome 80 and Safari 13, which means you absolutely do not need the bleeding-edge beta browsers to secure your endpoints today.
Integration into modern tech stacks is just as smooth. It provides official, native React 18 hooks and Vue 3 composables, both intuitively named ScreenGuard. But it actually goes further than just one tab. Utilizing the Broadcast Channel API, it features a cross-tab idle activity tracker. This synchronizes your lock state across all open browser instances. So if a user is idle and one tab locks, every single tab locks simultaneously. Furthermore, using local storage, it ensures startup and reopen lock persistence. So even if the user completely closes the browser or restarts the computer, the application remembers its locked state the second it's reopened.
You know, you would expect a library with self-healing DOM observers, WebRTC camera capture, web audio sirens, background web workers, and cross-tab synchronization to be this massive file that just bogs down your load times. Instead, the zipped bundle footprint is astonishingly small, less than 8 kilobytes. It's an ultra-lightweight footprint, proving definitively that you can achieve uncompromising, heavy-duty enterprise features without taking a single performance penalty.
For the security architects tuning in, this one is for you. KD ScreenGuard operates with zero third-party dependencies, effectively nullifying the risk of a supply chain attack through this tool. It is fully compatible with strict Content Security Policy, or CSP headers, and its security design is tightly aligned with OWASP recommendations, specifically mitigating against session hijacking, clickjacking, UI redressing, and brute force key enumeration. It plays strictly by the enterprise rules. We've seen how a lightweight, zero-dependency library can completely transform a vulnerable browser tab into a self-healing, biometric-secured fortress. By actively fighting back against DevTools tampering and leveraging the full power of native web APIs, KD ScreenGuard really does redefine client-side defense. So I'll leave you with this provocative thought to consider regarding your own projects. If a malicious actor sat down at one of your logged-in endpoints right now, could your current web application survive a client-side physical breach?